Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Nice meeting all of you here today. My name is Lilian. I'm the Business Development Manager of British Standards Institution, BSI, and I'm here today to share with you about the ISO 21221, how we actually apply this standard and integrate into the organization to achieve the sustainable event management. Okay, just a little bit of background about BSI before we move forward. Basically, BSI, British Standards Institution, we are the world's first national standards body and also a founding member of ISO and IEC. We are also a Royal Charter company, and in terms of the profit that we gain from our business, right, we do not have any shareholders, and this will all be reinvested back into our business to develop best practices and to benefit the industries. We also specialize in the provision of standards. We create standards, we work with the experts, we provide training and also certification, and we shape the world's most adopted standards. Yeah. So for today, this will be the content that I will bring you through. And after myself, we have Ying Ying and also Didi to share with you more practical insights as well. I'll be sharing with you what is ISO 21221, Sustainable Event Management. I will be also share about example why we need this and how we wanted to achieve the ISO 21221 as well as the success stories. Okay, so to start our session, first of all, let's consider why is event sustainability important to your organization? Yeah. And why is it necessary for us to manage the event sustainability? Yeah, so imagine like today, right, we are here with so many participants. For example, if we have 300 participants, how much of waste or even the greenhouse gas emission that we emit from each and every one of us? Yeah, so this definitely plays a very important role and is something for us to consider. So just take a look at, even though this is for festival, but it is also for business events. There are also similar waste generation. So for example, for an event, right, this is from the statistic which is measured. So basically from one event itself, it may generate 53 tons of waste. And this is basically equivalent to 450 blue whales. So imagine if we don't take action now, what would happen to our planet? Yeah. So this is something for us to really consider now because we only have one planet. And why is this important for us to do, take action now is for organization to put sustainability first, right? It can actually help us to take care of our planet, not just because of that, it can improve our business because when we talk about sustainability, example, when you want to reduce the energy usage, right? You want to reduce the waste. So this will help to improve the business performance as well. When you have a systematic process, you can reduce the waste generation, it can have a better profit as well. And it helps to prevent the environmental degradation because we want to prevent pollution. We don't want to, like now the weather is so hot, the climate change. So by putting sustainability first, it can help to prevent the degradation of our planet. And we can also combat pollution. For example, like flooding is so common, right? Sometimes we have a flash flood and suddenly just raining, we have the flash flood happening. So to have this overcome the issues or challenges that we have in the business event industry, what we can do is that there is this international standard available, which is known as ISO 21221, which is the Event Sustainability Management System. Basically, this event sustainability management will help organizations to put in place the sustainability policy and objective in order to achieve the sustainable event. So basically, this is developed for the event industry to help you to put in place the practices and it helps you to control the social, economic, and environmental impact of your events. Who will benefit from this? Basically, it is for example, all the event organizers like you. This is definitely very relevant. And event owners, workforce, or even the supply chain, right, will be able to benefit from the implementation of ISO 21221. Because by putting this in place, right, you have a very systematic approach. Everyone have the same understanding on what are the objectives or even the direction that we are achieving, right? So, example, when you want to find a suppliers, so you know that, okay, we are also looking into the sustainability, social and economic impact of these suppliers. So, these standards, when does it originate? Basically, why there is this standard? It is actually first coming from this, because of the London Olympics way back in 2005. So when Olympics, they are going to organize the Olympic, right, they think that they want to put sustainability at the first place. So London Olympic actually worked together with BSI to develop these standards. And it is first launched in 2007 in the UK as a British standards. So later on, these standards is actually put in practice for the event sustainability. And in 2009, it was then revised based on the in-use, because after they test out the standards, right, they find that there's a room for improvement. So there's a revision made in 2009, and finally in 2012, this standard is adopted by ISO as an international standard, which is now known as ISO 21221. Yeah, so this is just a little bit of the history. So how does these standards help organizations to improve sustainability, right? Basically, it helps to identify the ways for you to improve the event planning as well as delivery. It actually gives a very systematic and approach and the framework for your organization to adopt, and it also helps you to achieve the best practices to improve the event efficiency and performance. So other than that, because in the standards, there are also requirements about roles and responsibility, because for us to achieve a good results, it is always very important to have a clear roles and responsibility among the staff and also even our suppliers. Yeah. So it can also help you to cut costs, example through the better energy and also waste management, because without measuring, we don't know how much we lost, right? But when you start measure, you might get shocked. So later, Didi will share with you some of the data after they start to do the measurement. Yeah. And just now, based on the poll, a lot of you have selected the ISO. You heard about ISO before, right? Yeah, so one of the most common ISO that most of you, most probably is familiar, is ISO 9001, which is the quality management system, or even the 14001 for the environmental management system. So the beauty of this international standard is that it can be integrated together. So if you have the framework available, and now you want to go for ISO 21221, right, it will be easier. I will show you how after this. So these are just some of the summary, the benefits to implement this event sustainability management system. For example, it can be cost saving, it's business friendly because the standard is always flexible. You can design the system based on your organization business and the practice that you want to achieve the objective. So there are also benefits like energy, performance improvement, and so on. Yeah. So for the international, all the ISO standards, I think you may be familiar with this. Yeah, so standards or ISO certification, the cycle will be based on the plan, do, check, act cycle. So basically, when you want to adopt a management system, right, we will start with a planning. So we will plan how we want to set up our procedures and so on. You will then do it, which is where you implement it. And followed by checking, because without checking, we don't know how good we are. And after you check, you put into action for improvement. So by applying this, right, it can help you to gradually improve the performance of the organization. It's always, we can start with a small step and go towards a best-in-class practices. Yeah. In terms of the structure, as you are familiar with ISO 9001 quality or even the environmental management system, right? This ISO 21221 adopts the Annex SL, which is a high-level structure. So if you look at the coloring, right, all the clauses, they are similar. The structure is similar. So in terms of the requirement, for example, when you have the quality management system, you need to have a requirement about the context of organization or even support leadership. So all these, they are common. So the only thing that you need to focus more on when you embark on the ISO 21221 is on the operation clauses. So over here, you can see those in the blue color. This is the most significant difference among the other standards. So for you to implement, basically, you may need to have the like supply chain management, your event management, planning cycle, and so on. It will be embedded as part of the operation clauses. Yeah. So for you to achieve the roadmap, for example, like why the organization, I think most of the organization, in order to, especially now as a business event organizer, for us to be competitive in the international level, right? This international standard plays a very crucial role. It can help you to be recognized at the international level. Just like now in Singapore itself, right? The government actually also asking the industry to go for ISO 21221. Yeah. So in order to achieve the certification, we can always start with a small step. First, you can get a copy of the standard itself because this standard is available. So just grab a copy. You can go through the requirement to understand. And from there, if you require further understanding, you can organize a training for your team in the organization to understand. Then after that, proceed with the document development. This is where you want to put in place your manual or your standard operating procedures, right, for your employees to refer. Yeah. From there, you can then go for the, you can arrange either internally or you engage someone, the trainer, to conduct the training on implementation so that before you actually implement the system, right, the staff is well aware about the new procedures and how to do it in the company. Yeah. After that, for implementation, usually for the first time, right, if this is the first time that you're going for the certification, usually it is recommended at least 3 months of implementation record. Yeah. So it will then follow by a training because later on you need to perform an internal audit, right? So you may need to train up a group of internal auditors in the company. So then after that, you can actually conduct the internal audit and conduct the management review before you actually proceed for the actual certification. So example, before you want to go for certification, if you are unsure about your current status, right, you need a mock audit. So we actually can provide a pre-assessment. And for the certification, usually for the first year, it will be a stage 1 audit, which is focusing more on your management system readiness, which is your procedures and your manual, followed by the stage 2, which is focusing more on the implementation. So usually this whole cycle, typically we recommend a minimum 6 months timeline. Some may take up to 12 months. Yeah. So once you get certified, you will get a BSI, for example, if by BSI, you will get a BSI certificate on ISO 21221. There is also this logo on top. If you see this, you can use for the advertising of your organization that it is certified to ISO 21221. So this is also a good promotion for the organization. And following year, once the certificate is issued, usually you'll be listed in the directory, and each year there will be a surveillance audit. So for surveillance audit, it's more simple compared to the initial audit because the duration will be shorter just to check on your maintenance of your system. And after the 2-year cycle, there will be a recertification. Yeah, so this is typically the certification process for ISO 21221. Yeah. So here are some of the testimonial or feedbacks from our certified clients. For example, in London Olympics, this is adopted. So it actually helps to mitigate those noise, light pollution, and the sustainable practices is actually incorporated into the events. This is also for the Tokyo Olympics, for example, and even for some of the football clubs or the recent one, this is appointed. We are appointed to audit the COP28. Okay, so this management system standards is actually aligned to our sustainable development goals. It can help our organization to achieve these goals. And in summary, it actually uses a systematic approach. It helps the organization to protect the environment, and also we want to mitigate those bad impact towards the Earth and so on, right? Because we only have one planet. And we want to conform to the legal requirement. So here, these are some of the benefits that we can achieve by adopting this ISO 21221. Okay, so that's all from my sharing. Thank you very much. This is my contact. In case you have further questions, right, we can connect later. So I will pass the stage to Ying Ying. Yeah. Thank you very much.